Hello and welcome back, everyone, to a new session of our Pathfinder 2nd Edition campaign. How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Yeah, 17. Session 17. Sweet 17. Or whatever, I don't know what it is. Anyway, let's... so if everyone is ready, we shall begin and get back into it, shall we? Alright, awesome. So, last we left off, the party had just saved the merchant prince Axos Kutaban from a banking guild attempt to take over, I guess. In the attempt, Elise Farankar, the leader of the banking guild, and also merchant prince of Emyana, she had mind controlled Axos and had him try and order his guards to kill you all, as well as Don Iden and the merchant guards, who actually kind of all died. So that's good. Yeah, they did all die. But as the fight went on, Elise realized that it wasn't going to be over so easily. So she and her right-hand man, Don Marine, both escaped, and they left behind a staff, which transformed into this evil, corrupted, ent-like creature. And you had to fight that. And so after that had been put down, Axos, his mind freed from her grip, told you all that, thank you, and you're free to stay the night whilst he plans the downfall of the banking guild. But that night, Don Iden told Cyan to try and get to the banking guild HQ first, because they might destroy things before the merchant prince gets there. So you just snuck off straight away, didn't you, Cyan?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that now, shall we?
All right.
So that night, you sneak through the back streets of the central district of Port Edgeron, and as you head towards the Banking Guild headquarters. So after a few minutes of travelling, you arrive. You see the large stone building looming imposingly over the sort of smaller terraces that surround it, and the front door is currently opening and closing as people are going in and out. A few people carrying boxes and a couple of guards standing aside.
All right. Am I still invisible?
Currently, yes, you are.
All right. I'm going to try and find a rooftop that gets me a better view to see if I can find a side door. I imagine while I was casing it, I would know one or two extra entrances.
Yeah, give me a perception check, maybe.
Okay. Perception.
Okay, so looking around, obviously the two terraces next to it on either side, they're a bit smaller than the Banking Guild headquarters. It sort of looms a bit higher above the roof line than they do. But you could get from the top of the nearby roof, you could jump across maybe onto this and just sort of dangle from the gutter, and then you pull yourself up.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But first of all, I'm gonna ask Nyx if she could look for an open window or something.
Okay, so Nyx jumps off your shoulder and flutters away as you get onto the. Did you say you were going up on the roof?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so as you get on top of the roof, you see Nyx sort of, kind of, almost invisible like you, but just noticeable enough to you to see what she's doing. She goes up to each one of the windows and just sort of taps on them and then tries to push them open and goes one after the other. After a couple of moments, she comes back and says, "That one on the right." And she points to sort of the southwestern corner of the building from where you are.
All right. I go ahead and try to jump in.
Okay, the window's currently closed, so you'd have to step over to the sort of window ledge and then pull it open.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, then in that case, just to hop across, make me a jump check. So what is that? Is that athletics or acrobatics? As a spell jump. Make me an acrobatics for now because you're trying to like gracefully leap from one thing to the other.
Okay, just public or?
Yeah, do that. Okay, that's fine. No, that's all right. Yeah, 15 is the DC I was looking for. So you just hop across, and as you sort of balance on the other side of the windowsill, you reach down and Nick sort of helps you push the window open. It opens with a bit of a thud as it sort of locks itself into position. This seems to be maybe a sort of filing office. There seems to be quite a lot of filing cabinets and sort of wardrobes filled with papers and old dusty books. It's almost like storage. There's like a mop in the corner as well.
Right, not like big old records room or...
No, not really. It kind of seems like all the stuff that they are yet to archive, and they've just piled it all here.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the room with me, or...?
Sorry, I said sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. Other than Nick's, no, not that you know of.
All right. I'm not gonna take too long. I'm just gonna take a cursory look over some of the stuff on like the tables, see if there's anything about rifts.
Yeah. Okay. Make me a perception check.
A perception check. Okay.
Or investigation. Is investigation a thing? I think it is, isn't it?
27.
27. That's fine. So having a quick glimpse around, quite a lot of the stuff on here seems to be a lot of just old banking records, like receipts or old loan contracts that have now since been paid off. So they're just sort of piled around. You don't necessarily see anything to do with rifts. One thing does catch your eye. It seems to be like a dossier of all the storage units and like who like owns them.
Okay.
But you're not sure how back that goes.
I pocket it anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so it's not a massive file. It's just like almost like a notebook of sorts. But yeah, pocketing that. There doesn't seem to be very much else in the room, to be honest.
All right. Before exiting, I'm going to look through the keyhole if I can, see if I can spot anyone immediately outside.
Yeah, with your perception check, that's fine. You don't hear anyone from the other side. It's quite hard to see through the keyhole itself. There doesn't seem to be anyone outside, from what you can tell. Just below you, like on the floor below you, you're on the second floor at the moment. There seems to be maybe some noise being made, people dragging things around, like maybe furniture or something.
Okay.
But other than that, you don't seem to hear anything up here.
I open the door and see if I can have a look at what's going on downstairs.
Yeah, okay. So you sort of this part of on the second floor here, as you you go into a sort of main corridor. You see on the left of you there is a staircase going down, and then on the right there's a few more doors that sort of open up, going into either offices or other sort of storage areas. You kind of hear some sort of talking coming from one of the rooms further down the corridor, up on this floor.
I'm gonna try and eavesdrop on that.
Okay, yeah, go up to it and make me a stealth check.
Okay, stealth. I have a plus 15 in this now.
Yeah, blind.
Oh, sorry, that was...
Sorry. Well, everyone can see your natural one now.
Yeah.
All right, so approaching, you're trying to listen in, and unfortunately, as you sort of lean closer to the doorway, you step on a really creaky floorboard, and it sort of scares you and sort of makes you flinch. And as you step back, you just step into like a suit of armor that's right behind it, and it just all comes crashing down, all around you. and you hear a couple of people inside the office say, "What was that? Go check it out." And and you hear footsteps coming up to the door.
I whisper to Nix to just start messing around with the armor while I try and hide around the corner.
So next to do what?
I figure because Bird flew in, starts messing with the armor, just knocking things over.
So yeah, next turns into a sort of bird. Okay.
And I'm gonna go hide around the corner, see if.
Sure. All right, so you're going off and hiding around the corner. The door opens, and Nyx is sort of flapping around, flap, 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 as a sort of little raven next to the suit of armor. And the person sort of turns back and looks to the other guy and says, "Ugh, it's just a bird." As he says that, your invisibility runs out.
Okay. I have a thing for this.
Okay.
I'm.
Make me a stealth check because I don't think he's noticed you quite yet.
Okay. Stealth. Oh, sorry, it wasn't a blind one again. Sorry.
Okay. He's just sort of turned around at the moment in the doorway, just talking to the other guy. So you're just stood there, kind of in the open. Like there's not that many places to hide, other than maybe like an open door just behind you. Do you step through like the open door like next to you?
Yeah.
Okay, you step next to it. You step into it, and it seems to be like a little bedroom. This actually is familiar. It seems to be maybe the room that you saw into before.
Okay. I'm gonna have a look around then. See if I can spot anything cool looking.
Okay. You hear footsteps coming up the stairs. They seem to be like light footsteps. They don't seem to be like heavy clad armor from guards or whatever.
Okay.
And then after a couple of moments, because the room you're in at the moment, I assume you've sort of closed the door like half shut.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see like a silhouette sort of walk past you, and go up to the where the suit of armor is. And you hear through the doorway the guard saying to the other person, "Yeah, it was a bird that did it." And you hear a woman's voice, that you recognize as Elise, saying, "That seems unlikely." So what do you expect? You expect someone's here? We'll see. What are you doing?
I'm going to find somewhere to hide in the room until I get the impression that they've gone elsewhere.
Okay. So you going in there, just like finding a place to hide. Okay. Yeah, you're unnoticed to them both currently.
Okay.
Then so there's sort of more light footfalls, and then you hear appear next to you.
Oh, that was a mess.
I think she can see through my disguises.
Okay, that's not good. I have another trick. I don't know if it'd work. And I'm gonna cast Cloak of Shadow.
Okay.
It's only somatic components. Basically, it says you drape the target in a mantle of swirling shadows that make it harder to see. The cloak reduces bright light with a 20-foot emanation to dim light, form a magical darkness, and can therefore overcome non-magical light or attempt to counteract magical light. Target can use concealed condition gained from the shadows to hide, though observant creatures can still follow the moving aura of shadow, making it difficult for the target to become completely undetected.
Right, okay. Okay, so yeah, you watch as all the shadows in the room begin to sort of almost cloak you and surround you. even Nick seems to almost vanish into the shadows and almost becomes shadowy herself. Your skin itself, seems to almost like repel light to the touch almost. So as you're stood there in the corner, as the shadows go in, the door opens. Stepping in, you see not Elise, the other woman that you saw before. Dark skin. She's got her hair, like quite long curly hair done into a braid at the back. She's wearing quite flowing light blue clothes, like a cloth dress. And she's wearing sort of like bangles and pieces of gold jewelry around her arms and her neck. And she goes into the room and begins to go through her drawers. And you hear one of the guards shouting, "Make sure you get it. Make sure you get everything. We're going soon." So you're in the room with her.
Okay.
You see as she goes up to her sort of jewelry box and sits in front of it at her desk in front of the mirror. And you can see through the mirror, you can see her face here. She seems quite young, maybe, 16, 17, maybe 18. It's quite hard to tell. But as she opens up the jewelry box, the top of the desk pops off. And she goes in, and there's a couple of like diaries and books and some like important looking things in there.
Okay. Oh, I don't know what I can. I'm going to try and cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
Which appears invisible. Oh wait, no, that requires vocal components, so I'm not going to. I'm going to I'm going to try and like knock something like over, like throw something while she's taking a look at that to try and catch her attention.
Oh, which is like something small.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you see like next to where you're stood, she's got like a few crystals just like in a jar, like in a little bowl. Just picking one of them up and just tossing it over. Are you throwing it at her or just sort of like on the ground near her?
They're kind of on the ground near her to get her attention so I can wipe some diaries, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so go so you toss the crystal, it sort of clacks on the wooden floorboards. She sort of immediately her head cocks to the left and looks at it. She sort of stands up. She gets off the desk and stands up. Hello? Who's there?
I'm gonna wait for her to get closer to it before I can swipe the diaries from behind her.
Okay, yeah, she begins to back up towards the doorway and takes a dagger out from her waist, and sort of holds it in front of her.
Does she? When I saw Elise, I imagined she had the look of someone who could handle herself, right?
Yeah.
Does this girl look like she can actually handle herself, or is she just more scared child?
Yeah, she looks more like a 16-year-old girl, like rather than anyone that has any combat ability or just seems like a normal person.
Okay. I'm going. This is a stupid idea, but okay. I'm going to try and cast message at her.
Okay.
Mouth words quietly, but instead of coming out of your mouth, they're transferred directly into the ears of your target. So I imagine it doesn't really sound like anything because
No,
it says,
sure.
"Well, others can't hear
Yeah,
your words."
yeah.
And I'm gonna say, I got in very easily. In
Say
a
that
moment.
again. Sorry. Say that again.
I got in very easily. In a second, I can cut your throat. I would recommend staying silent.
Make an intimidation check.
Okay. Blind roll or
Yeah, make it a blind roll.
blind GM roll?
She like stops and begins to shake. The door obviously behind us closed. So and she's got both her hands on the dagger in front of her, and she says, "Who are you? What do you want?"
I don't want to hurt you. Allow me to take what I want, and no harm will come to you. I promise.
What do you want?
Information. The rifts. Anything I can use on the banking guild.
I don't know anything.
Can I make a check to see if not that to see if like
yeah.
she's trying to what
So,
kind
yeah,
of check is that?
sense motive. So that'd be diplomacy, is it? Or is it perception?
Diplomacy.
Is it perception?
So sense motive.
Sense motive.
I think it's diplomacy.
It's a secret perception check for you and compares it to the
Yeah,
result of the deception DC of a creature.
Yeah. That's it.
So perception.
Yeah, so it's perception.
Blind or
Yeah, secret. So yeah.
oh sorry, that was
That's all
private.
right. That's fine. So she looks like she really doesn't know that much. There does seem to be something that she might be hiding though. Like she seems to know like obviously enough to be around all these banking guild people. Like she knows that something up.
I'm not a fool.
Are you working for the Magister?
I'm the one asking questions here.
Please, I promise I had nothing to do with that.
And yet here you are.
It was all Don Marine. It wasn't me. I just needed his work.
Why?
He was going to reveal everything.
About the rifts? About the gloom? What was he going to show you?
He had already shown the Sea Lord. And the Sea Lord was going to show the Merchant Prince. It had to be done.
And where is the information on this? One of your books?
She shakes her head, but it's quite obvious that one of the books she has on her.
Give me those books.
I can't. I can't do it.
If you don't, you will die here.
She drops the bag and throws it over.
I take it and I sling it over my shoulder, and I'm going to try and get closer to her and say, I would recommend finding a new line of work.
So do you reveal yourselves in the shadows here?
No, I'm going to try and inch, like still in the darkness, but like
Just shuffle very slowly.
Yeah, kind of,
She just sees a
basically.
shadow just awkwardly shuffling towards the window. Yeah, okay. You sort of back up to the window and open it, and in a flash you're gone. If you wanted to just jump through it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're not very far down the road. Going back into the area of the fortress, where you start to hear bells coming from the nearby from the guild headquarters, and like an alarm bell, and then you see like a whole bunch of guards starting to run towards it, and you manage to slip past.
Okay. And I'm going to start making my way back to Don Iden.
Cool. All right. So you arrive back, and you are sent to the penthouse sort of like area, just like the sort of guest quarters of the fort, where the party and Don Iden are currently staying.
All right.
Don Iden is just sat on an armchair, looking like sort of menacingly into the fire, like as if he's like planning something. He's got his hand on his chin, just supporting it as he just stares intently at the fire. What's everyone else doing?
So during that time, I would have been healing and refocusing and healing and refocusing and etc. etc.
Okay.
Cascus approaches Don Iden on his own and says, "You seem about your men."
Yes. Yes. A lot of good people died today.
Indeed. And in that vein, I wondered whether or not it would be appropriate to share the news of the seizure of the banking guild's assets to the Purple Bank of Puffleaf.
Why would we do that?
Well, I'm certain news would get around that I was present, and well, if it came back to me that I neglected my duty to inform them, it could look bad.
Until your contract is sorted, Cascus, you're still a member of the Adventuring Guild.
I appreciate that, but we had a deal.
He looks back into the fire. Make a persuasion check.
I feel like I have some
Diplomacy.
shenanigans that I can use to modify
yeah,
this.
go
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, go into the tomes. Hold on. Okay. I can use coercion, apparently. No, without engaging. You can bully others with just a few choice implications. You can coerce a creature after 1 minute of conversation. Instead of 1 minute, you can still coerce a creature. Might be that I can coerce.
You're going to coerce him.
Let me see the impact of a failure on that. Okay, becomes hostile. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Just make it, like it's a diplomacy check. So if you got anything, that'll
Yeah,
help
I feel
you,
like my diplomacy is pretty damn good, so it should be fine.
just go for it.
Fine. Let's not do the other. Okay.
Yeah, they even become unfriendly on a critical success.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no one likes being coerced. Do they? Even if you do something,
Even
like,
successfully.
after being coerced, you don't want to be. You don't like that person after that point. That being said, 26 is pretty good. He turns to you and says, "I hope you know what you're doing."
I'm sure it'll be fine. He goes
I
off
can
to...
send him. I can send a message for you if you want. I mean, was your idea to like go in person?
I think it would be best if it was a letter or in person, depending on how the evening progresses.
Don't get yourself captured.
Captured? I already feel captured. Kind of slight kind of dramatic theatrical flair to it, kind of putting his hand up to his forehead, kind of palm out slightly dramatically, and then leaves.
Yeah, as you turn to leave, Don Iden sort of stands and sort of walks up to you and just puts an arm on your shoulder and just sort of looks very intently at you and says, "We are going to need as many allies as we can get. We all risk being killed here if we lose this war."
Very well, we will not lose any war.
We need allies and friends. Very well. So you head off. After a few moments, are you gonna go straight there?
I can do. Yeah, I can do.
Yeah. Okay, so after a while, are you gonna go back to the Lucky Chicken? Is it?
Yeah, Lucky Chicken, that's the one, yep.
Okay. So going back there, you see your brother just talking to a bunch of patrons, laughing and sort of entertaining them. As you approach, he says, Cascus, let me introduce you to this is Don Ferenza and Doña Ferenza. These two are very wealthy. And he seems be a bit drunk, and they sort of laugh, and he says, but not as wealthy as me, of course.
Of course, heavens above. Nobody on this continent is nearly as close as you are, my brother.
Yes, brother. What have you for me?
I have a very funny joke to tell you in confidence. It's how do I say? It refers to our past, so I thought best not to raise in front of our esteemed colleagues.
Oh, well. Very well. He turns to his guests and says, I must leave you. I will be back soon. And they sort of nod and go off on their own way.
So they seem slightly horrified by the fact that an effective kind of yellow devil just walked in.
Your brother seems to be almost like under his breath cursing that you just turned up, but he's holding his composure whilst in the presence of the guests. As he takes to the office, he slams the door and says, just because you are going to be working for me does not mean you can embarrass me at every moment.
Cascus kind of just looks down slowly. Well, I do not know what you mean.
What is it, Cascus? My time is worth much more than you could possibly imagine.
Well, in the business souls, in the interest of transparency and to extend the olive branch on our new working relationship, I have some information you might find interesting and useful, especially given our conversation the other night.
And that is?
Well, he kind of sits down on a chair and says, we just paid the Merchant Prince a visit.
He sits back on his chair. Tell more.
Well, Axos was in a good mood. He nearly got killed.
I heard a rumor of trouble at the fort.
Well, there were trouble indeed. It was, she was at the party the other night with Don Kita. I'm sure you are aware she was there, but it was Elise Farencar and
Yes.
Don Marine, who'd come before. They collectively had managed to puppeteer the Merchant Prince into trying to get me killed. It was very, very rude. But in any case, we dispatched them. Not killed, of course. But Axos is furious with the merchant, with the banking guild for this treachery, and have called for all of their property and assets to be seized tonight. So, if you had any dormant plans lying around on the floor,
Our biggest competitor is just about to be completely dismantled.
indeed, and you may enjoy that business, but I ask one thing as a show of gratitude for this. I would be keen for you to have another look into the sewer for the dreamers.
Yes, very well. But if all their property is about to be seized by the Merchant Prince, I imagine so will that.
Perhaps, but then maybe an opportunity to do some various things. I'm
I'll
sure
keep
the
an eye on
Merchant Guild are much more pliable than the Banking Guild.
I need to make some arrangements then.
Well, do not make it too suspicious, brother. I know you enjoy the party life and your many friends outside will appreciate will miss your presence. You could, of course, always sub me in, but I do not think you would do that.
Friends don't matter in this business. These are my only friends. And he takes out a big pile of gold, like in a little pouch, and he puts it on the table and pushes it over to you.
What is this?
It is your compensation for your information, Cascus.
Oh, this was the best we ever got, huh? In our family. Instead of a hug or something more comforting, it was this.
Yes. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Snatches the bag and kind of gingerly pockets it slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I, of course, would like to not get in the way of your plans, so I will be off now.
Very
But
well.
remember, it was I who gave you this information.
How could I forget?
That was very deadpan, I'm sure.
Yeah, he just mumbles it as you leave. Okay, so eventually everyone is reunited back at the fort. What's it? Yeah. So what's everyone doing? So it's coming towards quite late at night now.
Cyan's just gonna dump the bag at Don Iden's feet. Job's done.
And what is this?
When I was in there, I met a young girl. Young. 16, 17. Doesn't seem to be of the type that Marine would recruit. She explained that the banking guild had the Sea Lord killed.
Banking guild. Well, that's yeah. Well, that's my suspicion.
The bag should contain all the information. What she told me simply was that the banking guild, Marine specifically, had revealed something to the Sea Lord and then had him killed.
Yeah, the information was actually more that the Magister had revealed something to
Oh,
Sea
the
Lord.
Magister, right.
Yeah.
The
And
Magister
then Don Marine had them both killed.
Right, yeah. Sorry, I got it mixed up.
Yeah, it's all good. Don Iden says, well, that is important information then. Hopefully the diaries possess something we can work on.
This concept of revelation, though, seems religious in nature, if you ask me. Which, of course, makes sense, considering our friends in the sewers.
What are you suggesting?
Well, this figure, Lucian, claimed that the banking guild practically experimented on him, right?
Right. But everyone else is here as well, by the way, if you wanted to pitch in. But yeah, go ahead.
The banking guild basically experimented on him, and as a result, he creates a cult. He mentions strange figures in the pit. He mentioned the Cascus saw strange creatures. Maybe they're mad, maybe there's a cult there. But maybe the Magister was privy to some form of arcane or religious information that the banking guild was dealing with. And, well, he mentioned gods, I believe. Yeah.
Gods. Not any gods that we know of.
No, but that's besides the point. Maybe they made contact with something else.
So what?
Well, at least there's proof that this isn't the doing of the Rodrins. There's, in fact, if anything, I would argue that the Rodrins helped us on this, or at least the Kayadar did. On top of this, there are rifts to look into. Maybe they'll give us more information. But I do believe that this taking over of Sea Lord is either to ensure that the information never got out, or to simply ensure that they can carry on experimenting with the rift here. Or both. I also found this I also found this information on storage units, and who owned them. Perhaps we'll find more information if there are any that were owned by the banking guild.
I give that here.
I think Don Iden should see it.
I certainly agree, but there is a I would just like to look at something in your presence. Do you remember that the other day, the storage lot?
I'll put it on the table.
Oh, for goodness sakes, Ian.
Yeah.
When you say storage lots, I assume you mean all of those across Port Etrin, Storage containers.
Yeah.
Okay. I assume Cascus would know the number of the storage container he had, and conversely, perhaps the one opposite.
Yeah. That's correct.
You don't need to worry, Cascus. Don Iden is ensuring that the hideous actions done against Hover Enterprises aren't going to come back and bite you.
Whatever. A Purple Bank of Poverty. Remember that
Purple
name.
Bank of Hover.
Scrolls through page after page until he eventually gets to his. He kind of puts his finger. Ah. Okay. Who are these jammy? And can I see who owned the lot opposite?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, so I'm just trying to find the thing in my notes. Oh yeah, here we are. So it says that the storage lot was owned by a magister named Don Aiden Morel.
Aiden.
Yes, and then
Morel.
Marell.
Cool.
And the address that is listed as like the ownership address is on the island of Imyana. Somewhere within the banking council district. So he was quite high up, clearly, as a magister.
Yeah.
Like he's rank of magister, but he's got the title of the Don. So
He's not the one that was killed, right?
no.
I don't think the name rings a bell to any of us, right?
No, not particularly.
This name, Don Aiden, turns the book to him on the table. Does this mean anything to you?
Yes, that is one of the 9.
One of the 9?
There are 9 sort of people who make the decisions on the board of the banking guild. They're known as the 9. Aiden Morel is one of their most learned and knowledgeable.
Well, I can't remember if we told Don Eisen about the storage lot.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Okay, well, I assume you realize this corruption, this rot within the banking guild far extends beyond the least faring part at this point.
I think it stems from her, if anything.
Well, perhaps, but my point is it is embedded in pretty deep. This person, he was pretty ideologically indisposed with the idea of the 5-point star and the musings of these rifts.
Is it 5 or was it 6?
Yeah, 6.
Okay. Fair enough.
These
is it-
oh sorry.
No, go on.
These books. You think what's in them is enough to make it stick?
I don't know.
I mean,
All I know...
What's to stop them from just being like, "Oh, you wrote those"?
I imagine the information we uncover at these other rifts would support us. And on top of that, well, they just full on attacked Axos.
That's a good point.
Yes, I think at this point they are well and truly on the run. The issue will now be getting in control of all their assets, including the fort of Imiana itself, which is the largest vault in Erd. Has the most gold. Can fund mercenary armies and potentially even outspend us.
Mercenaries... We're talking large-scale conflicts.
That is a potential. If they all get back in order and manage to send out messengers and ravens to their allies and to their whoever they've been talking to in terms of mercenaries, we may have a large conflict on our hands.
Do you think?
That will at least make us vulnerable to the elves
Do you
in a way
think
that we've never been before.
Do you think they can win?
The banking guild controls a third of the entire merchant fleet. So that's the third that now is no longer under our control.
You mentioned vulnerability to the elves. What if we had other friends?
I'm certain that at some point we are going to have to ask the elves for assistance. But it just depends who we ask and what we offer.
Might I suggest the Kaidar?
You're already losing one war.
We help her out with that one, she can help us out with this one.
If we help her out, we will be at war with the whole of Adana.
I have to agree with Don Aiden on this point. I think we have had this conversation before, Cyan.
It was her that told us about the Achidian.
It does not matter who tells us what, Look at the odds. Look at the numbers.
In business, is it usually such an instance where someone helps us and then we don't help them? Because that's what I'm getting from this.
It's called hedging your bets and being pragmatic.
I think there's a bit of a difference too between a bit of information and going to war.
The information helped us find the people that were mind controlling Axos.
Hold on a moment, Don Aiden says. You told me that the Rodrans were 100% certain that they had nothing to do with the assassination of the Padron.
Yes.
Well, if the merchant, if the banking guild has attempted to kill one head of state, maybe they're responsible for the other.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
If we could find some evidence, something, then that would end the Sidon's attack on the Rodrons overnight. And then they would direct all their energy up towards the banking guild. Their rage.
Whilst
could use-
also
We could use the elves.
Do you think they did? Or do you just want the elves to think they did?
Well, this is what I mean. Any evidence will do.
I imagine they would have all of that evidence over at Imyana.
Yes, but there's no way we could get that evidence. It would take 100,000 men. It would take a fleet of 10,000 ships to even besiege it.
Or a small group.
Oh, no. I do not like where that head.
Small group, less of a target to hit, more covert. Find a better way in. Quicker way in. Doesn't require as many resources.
We would have to create a hell of a distraction for you.
Not gonna lie, covert makes me a bit nervous.
It makes me very nervous.
I don't exactly, well, it's not exactly our strength. Kind of just rubs Hank on the top.
I think it's our only shot.
But why us? What do we owe these people?
I imagine we'd get paid a lot.
Yeah. John Iden laughs and says, the gold bank of Imyana, the vault itself, they say that you could fit 2,000 ships loaded with cargo in it.
Okay. So...
It is filled to the brim with gold. Cascas.
paces slightly.
So he says so much gold that if it was released all at once, the whole market of Erd may collapse through inflation.
That's a lot of gold. Imagine the look on your brother's face if you're walking around with all that money.
I see exactly what you're doing here, Cyan. It is slightly working, and I do not appreciate that.
I just can't help but think, right? That much gold can afford some real good protection. Do you really think we are up to that?
I think we have a better shot than an army, if you ask me.
Oh, do tell.
Well, a large army, that requires a lot of people, a lot of resources, lots of noise. People will be keeping an eye out for a massive army. Especially seeing as Axos is now declaring war on the banking guild. Someone creates a large distraction outside, sends most of the forces that way. I imagine some variety of military force. We sneak in the back. Less fighting, less bloodshed, less risk for us. If we were a group of heavily armored men with halberds swinging, we'd be gunned down in a moment. But we're not.
I mean, it's not
Because
a
we're
halberd,
clever.
but
I wasn't referring to you, I was more referring to people with halberds. Halberdiers, in general. You know what I mean.
If you could sneak in and open one of the entrances, we could. If we had a landing party get onto the shore, it'd be much easier to get inside the walls.
See?
we could save thousands of lives.
And we can end the war if we find the information we need. Everyone's a winner. Also, we get... I imagine we'd be allowed to take a peruse through that vault.
Okay, so how about this? One final job, and we're done. We could live off this for the rest of our lives, and the next 10.
If we can fit that much gold in our pockets.
Oh, we will find a way.
Huh.
Have you heard of something called a bag?
I imagine said bag would hold a lot of items.
It's kind of like a pocket, but like not attached to you. Though you can
this
also
guy-
attach it to you.
Is this guy being serious?
I think we had a bag before, but we lost it.
I heard you had lots of bags, and you just gave them to someone.
Yes.
Empty bags.
Right.
This is what I thought too.
Well, these are all things we can bring up to Don, to the Merchant Prince when we see him tomorrow. Maybe we should get some rest.
Before we do, I do have one short question.
That is-
What the fuck is happening to our contracts if we're part of his personal retinue or whatever the fuck he called us?
I was going to say, we definitely deserve some sort of raise, surely.
I don't know either, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I guess he'll explain tomorrow.
We definitely need to negotiate our contracts.
In times of war, there's not much room for negotiation, I'm afraid.
Well, no. Wait, no. Wait,
Don Iden,
That works.
Don Iden turns to you and says, "You can either be constantly seeking money, or you can be seeking power."
well, I'd like both.
I
These rags that I'm wearing,
What is money if the banking guild were to win this war and were to... I'm not even sure what they have planned.
Okay, fine, but for now.
I'm sure you'll be well rewarded for being good allies to the Merchant Prince. That's for sure. He's very known for his generosity in that regard. Let's just get some rest. We'll see him tomorrow.
Yeah. Word of advice. These types, if they're going to give you money, they really like to think it's their idea. So, yeah.
do we say as much? I don't deal well with nobles.
He's not a noble.
Well, similar things, really.
Well, you'll see. All right. So, is everyone planning on getting some rest then?
Yeah, Cyan's gonna kick the hay.
Yeah. So weirdly enough, sort of, because of how resting in Pathfinder is, probably be going to sleep once everyone's basically at full hit points. It's kind of backwards.
Why is that?
Because resting doesn't actually heal much HP.
No, yeah.
Whereas lay on handsing and then refocusing every 10 minutes heals quite a lot.
Ah.
Can Henning just down a load of health potions that he makes? I think.
Nice nightcap.
Yeah.
I imagine, like, from what you put in those potions, you're probably going to be overdosing if you take that much.
It's fine.
Can we basically just set to full?
Yeah. Go back to full. That's fine.
Cool.
So the next day comes along. Where's the calendar? It is a new moon today. Is it new moon? It's a waxing crescent moon. So, all right. So the next morning, you are awoken by a whole bunch of guards entering the room. What's this elixir of life about?
What?
What was the elixir of life about?
I don't know. I didn't press.
Okay.
I don't think I pressed that.
Okay. Anyway,
What was fuck?
yeah. So you're all awoken by maybe 10 or 20 guards all entering, and then lining up at the front. John Iden says, "What's the meaning of this?" And one of the guards, Henning, you recognise one of the guards as the guard you tried to kill multiple times.
Oh god.
Hello.
He's scowling at you.
Oh, we overslept.
The merchant prince requests your presence in the dining room.
He's not looking
All right.
funny like he did before, right? We're not gonna have to get into another scrap.
They don't say anything. They just sort of urge you to move your ass.
Right.
As we sort of go past, I'm just gonna like look to the one that Henning was kind of trying to kill. You're like, you're right after yesterday.
He scowls still. He just does not say nothing.
Just like give him a pat on the shoulder. It's like, shit happens, mate.
Okay, so they lead you towards the dining room. This absolutely massive buffet is laid out on a very large oak table that goes probably about maybe 10 meters long. It's long as shit. At the end of the table, Axos is stuck in eating, and as you approach, she says, well, I thought you would be up earlier, to be honest. I didn't think I'd have to get my guards." And Don Iden sort of bows as he approaches and says,
It was the
Okay.
nicest we've slept in a while, so we wanted to make the most of it.
"Yes, well, whilst you were sleeping, I was making arrangements. Let's get into it, shall we?" As you all sit down, on the table itself, there's like a large smoked like boar with an apple in its mouth, right at the table. There's maybe like a couple of them, as well as like heaps of just potatoes and vegetables and enough to really stuff yourself with. It's crazy. Axos says, "Well, I've been doing some thinking about what I want to do with you all, now that we are potentially in the shit. I hope you don't mind, but I am going to require your presence for the for the foreseeable future. I have a mission for you."
Turn my head to Don Iden, trying to get his eye contact.
And John Iden sort of is, "Well, my merchant prince, I think they may be more better suited." And the merchant prince puts his hand up to silence him, and says, "I need envoys. I need people I can trust, who can send messages. And I think after your attempts yesterday at saving my life, which were very successful, and saving this entire state, I think I trust you all to be ambassadors."
Where would you send us?
"I would send you to the different houses of the elves, seeking alliances."
Right.
Which elves do you have in mind, my lord?
"I'm not a lord."
Sorry, my merchant prince.
Don't call me Shirley.
First, you wouldn't have to go immediately, You could have as much time as you need to get your things together before your adventure. But I would commission you a ship to Kelrius.
All right.
And then from Kelrius, I would hope you would travel to Lenora, the Emerald City, the capital of the elves.
Henning has a big smile on his face when he said calories.
Sorry, what was the second one? Enoria.
Lenora, which is here.
Oh, I need to go to the ad on the map.
So Kelris, Lenora.
And then hopefully from there you can spend some time with the elves in the royal court of the Padrin, the Child Emperor.
My merchant prince, as part of this diplomatic mission, would we be sent to Adenira, perhaps?
As part of your mission, you can go wherever you deem fit, as long as it is making alliances for our cause. I don't expect us to get into any serious trouble with the banking guild until at least next year. The weather is starting to pick up, and there's going to be summer storms.
Might I bring a suggestion forward?
Aye.
I'm gonna look at Don Iden and see if like, kind of just like as a, should I say it, or...
Don Iden nods.
Well, we have come to realize that, in truth, it was the banking guild who had assassinated the Sea Lord.
He sort of sinks back on his chair a little bit. Very well.
They used a weapon that could, for instance, prevent resurrection. You may be familiar that such a weapon was used against the Padrin.
Yes. I remember when it happened. It was a shame.
We have other reasons to believe that such information may lead us towards the conclusion that, in truth, it was the banking guild who had assassinated the Padron.
Then that is the message you should bring when you consult your alliances.
I would also like to ask permission to conduct a small mission on Inyana to perhaps locate evidence of this. If we have such proof, then not only would we have the Sidon, the loyal to Port Edron, we would also have the aid of Hyadar and Rodrins. You can imagine the enormity and kudos Port Edron would receive for revealing not only the truth behind such a plot, but also ending the war and aiding in taking down the true murderers of the Padron.
Very well. Consult this coalition. And once you return with allies, we will be able to take the fight to the banking guild. But we cannot afford to until then. We do not have the troops, all the ships. We need elves. We need their help. Also, you, Hanira. And he turns to you.
Yes.
I have it on authority that you are also the daughter of a High Lord.
I look very awkward. Yes, that's correct.
House Tristfair, is it?
Yep.
Then, as part of your mission, you should go there as well. Try and get your family's assistance.
Okay. If that's your wish.
Merchant Prince, if I may be so bold, Gaskis Povriv, nice to meet you and to make your acquaintance.
Very well.
To what is, on what behest do we represent the Adana Merchant Company? Are we officials in every sense of the word, or are we entitled to our own individual pursuits while we are on this mission? So long as it is not in the name of the Merchant Company.
You will be the first group, potentially, in the entire history of Adana, made of non-elves who would be able to go to these places and experience these cities. Whatever you wish to do on your journeys are yours. But I ask that when you are speaking on behalf of the Adana Merchant Company, you do everything you can to assist the Adana Merchant Company in its war. And that is by facilitating alliances and agreements.
Cascus kind of there's that little squeak. Tries to mask his excitement with the prospect, and takes a deep bow.
And if you can come up with any business ventures that help the Adana Merchant Company raise revenue, of course, that will be appreciated too. And you will be entitled to a large cut of the profits.
Well, that is all well and good, and I think that is an excellent idea. But I am not particularly familiar with the exports of the merchant company, nor am I with their investments, and also these types of stuff. Is there anywhere I could procure information to help in that regard?
Any information you need is yours.
We'll go with here.
And as further thanks for your service, he clicks his fingers and a whole bunch of guards, well, sort of like quite well-dressed servants, wearing yellow cloaks, sort of yellow, I guess, sort of like fine coats, I guess. All begin to walk around the table with boxes in their hands. Some of them longer, some of them a bit shorter. But they're all gifts, they seem. And they all stand beside you. The merchant prince says, as a token of my thanks, I have selected for each of you some gifts which you can take on your journey. He says, let me just get my notes up. Just bear with me 2 minutes. So he says, Cyan or Vinail. This is a sword, a saber, that has been in the families of the merchant princes of Port del Ron for many years. And he opens up a sort of sword case, and you see this dark steel saber with these sort of gold inlays of a feather running all the way down the inside of the saber blade. The handle itself is light and well balanced, and is coated with gold, and it sort of has this sort of black and gold almost look to it. It's very sharp to the touch. So that's a +1 striking rapier.
Okay. Can I just find that in the regular items?
Yeah, you should be able to find that somewhere.
You might have to add the striking rune on manually.
Yeah.
But it'll be a drop-down thing.
Yeah, we can sort that out. And then he says, and for you, Cascus, from a family of distinguished gentlemen and well-renowned diplomats, a cane for you, a sword cane.
Ooh, very, very fancy.
Is
What does
this,
it look like?
yeah, well, do you have any ideas of what you want it to look like, or?
I think it's just very blingy.
It's like a pimp cane.
it-
It's got a big
Sure.
diamond on the top
big,
of it.
it's like a big kind of like, I don't know, I guess like kind of gold or maybe like brass, I guess, given because diamond's probably a bit hard to come by. Kind of head,
Yeah.
maybe embossed and
Maybe like a big sapphire on the top.
if that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's fine. Just don't sell it.
Yeah.
No, it's a nice gift. It's an expensive gift, and that's also a +1 striking sword cane.
Yeah.
And then he says, Calcifer, as someone I have known the exploits of as working for Don Iden, this is for you. And the servant opens up a large box that has a shining steel shield on it. In the center is a sort of embossed, sort of like dog's head, with like a couple of jewels in the eyes. This is a steel shield of animal protection. He says, your beast will be safe in its protective shell.
Thank you. Would I have
Oh, I
any
did do that.
pre-existing idea of how that works, or
You have no clue.
okay?
He stands up and tells you the word that you need to use, which is, I don't know, Hank, return. I don't know. whatever you want it to be.
Okay,
And,
Hank, bank. The
Hank, bang.
Yeah,
Get him in the Hank bank.
The Hank bang.
Wait, no.
Careful with
That is the name of this session now.
PG stream.
Yeah, the Hank bang. Okay, well,
No.
a sort of a blue arcane tether shoots out of the center of the shield and sort of wraps itself around Hank, and you watch as Hank just sort of like becomes a bit of energy and just zooms into the shield. Zoom.
Like Pokemon.
Hank!
Yeah, like a Pokeball.
No,
And,
Hank.
And the eyes of the dog glow blue when Hank is inside it. And then he says, and then if you say it again, Hank will return.
Say it again.
Hank bang. Hank then
Withdrawal.
Yeah. And amazing. So Hank seems pretty happy with it. And Axos says, if Hank was to become seriously injured by any chance, the shield has an auto recall functionality as well. So hopefully
Thank you.
your beast will remain safe on the adventure.
That's very generous of you. Cheers. Then takes a knee.
One of the servants then goes up to Henning, and the merchant prince says, "And for you, Henning, I noticed that you were a user of a blunderbuss."
Yes, I acquired it a while ago.
Yes, I got a complaint actually about that. We just go over that later. But,
It misfired.
Several times.
that being said, as you will soon be away from my guards long term, here is a new weapon, a new firearm for you, and it opens up. Do you have any ideas what your +1 striking flintlock pistol looks like?
I imagine it'd be sort of a black gloss with silver embroidering along it. Sort of that
Yeah.
sort of thing. It's like a sleek
Nice.
design.
Yeah, it's nice as well, and you can sort of spin it in your hand, and it feels very comfortable. It's got a nice
This'll do.
weight heft to it.
Sort of jokingly starts to aim it at the guard.
The
kidding.
guard stood by the door, like he can't. He's not supposed to move as part of his guard duty, so he's just sort of like obviously quite nervous, and he's just like sweating. But and then he says, "And for you, Hanera, as a lady of magic, I wish you to have this very rare item of mine. And it opens up, and it seems to be this sort of blob of clay of some sort that seems to almost like be black with stars in it. And it almost has this sort of quite like almost 3D holographic effect that you almost like looking into a little galaxy when you hold it. He says, this is clay of creation. If you think about an item you wish to mold, as you mold it, it will create whatever you are thinking of. And for a few minutes, and then it will turn into clay again.
Ooh. Thank you. Think about a hammer.
Yeah, so you think about a hammer, and then your hands, you sort of begin to try and like shape it into a hammer, and then eventually it takes over and just sort of begins to form into a hammer, and it still has the sort of clay, sort of shimmering gloss to it, but it's in the shape of a hammer, and it hardens to the point where you can like you hit something, and it sort of actually just like is really hard. To make something more, so I'll send you because this is a homebrew item. So you can make weapons with it, but it takes a minute to make something with it. So it's not something that you can necessarily make like in the middle of combat. But if you have like a minute's notice, you can make the weapons it makes is a +1 striking weapon. If you wanted that, but also it can make basic items and stuff as well. Like you can make, if you could like, make any basic tools or like a crowbar or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will send you the thing for it after the session. And he says, Axos stands and says, I hope then, however long you remain in Port Edron, you do not feel threatened. I plan to have this city under lockdown. And if you ever need anything, any assistance, come find me.
Okay, how are we gonna get back in if it's in lockdown? Are we gonna like have a piece of paper with us that says, "Oi, let us in"?
My guards know your faces.
Okay.
So, what do you think of the? How long do you think you plan to stay here in Port Edron before you head off then?
I need to get a new spell.
I have one thing I need to do before we leave.
Maybe a couple days.
Okay. Well, if there is anything that you require, we still plan to go through with the elections in a week's time. I figure that Elise isn't going to win anymore.
Should
It would be strange if she did.
Well, I'm not letting her on the ballot, so.
I don't get these subtle things.
Do you
Put it on Kita.
I hear your brother is going for that as well, Cascus.
Oh, is he now? I was not aware. My dealings with him are, You know what brothers are like. You're Dom. No, wait. You're what? You're merchandise.
Yeah, I'm fine. Your
merchantliness.
He says, stay as long as you wish, but understand that time is of the essence. But do not feel rushed.
Like hurry, but don't not too
ignore
much.
you.
But
Yeah, it's like in terms of this, it's going to take months for this war to like ramp up. So, he also says, and it does seem that that Elise did manage to escape in the night. So I don't know where she is now. I assume on her way back to Imyana.
well, maybe we'll run into her.
I can't say I'll miss her that much.
Does she have many allies outside of Ported?
She has allies with various houses, but I'm not sure exactly who she has paid off and who is actually loyal to her and who isn't.
What is your guidance if we run into banking guild associates on our journey?
We're at war.
Stab them.
Do whatever you need to do.
So
To-
stabbing them.
Continue the mission.
Stabbing does sound like an option.
No, well, maybe less stabbing in your case and more shooting.
Shooting,
throwing.
bombing, and poisoning, and yeah, something like that.
Cool. Is there any last things you you want to ask Axos before we go to like a break?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, then good.
Cool, amazing. Right, so let's have a break there then, shall we?
All right. Right. See you in a little bit.
Back
Spammers.
Some. I feel I need a new name. We'll think about it. All right. See you in a
We'll
bit.
think about what to call you later.
Yeah.
All right, come back at quarter two. Hello, welcome back. So just before the break, the party just met with Axos Kutaban, the merchant prince of the Adana Merchant Company, and were rewarded with some gifts, as well as a mission to basically travel around Adana and find allies for the upcoming war. So, what would everyone like to do? The rest of the dinner sort of goes quite well. Eventually, he just lets you go, and you find yourself with some time.
What sort of time is it?
Probably midday.
Okay, I'd like to go see Don Quito. If possible.
I am also gonna see Don Kita, but probably later.
So you say, why are you following me?
Okay, Henning. So yeah, you go and find Don Kita at his house. He is talking with a bunch of a couple of journalists who are just writing on notepads, just asking him questions about what he would do as Sea Lord. And he's saying, well, after the announcement of the banking guild, I would, and he's like stumbling over his words, and they're sort of like being a bit confused. But you managed to get his attention. He actually turns and thanks you for the distraction. Oh, I hate talking to journalists. What is it, Henning?
Understandable. If you recall, we had a conversation about Gemheart dust at the party.
Yes. What was it I said to you again?
There's a job I can do for you in exchange for a pinch of it.
Ah, yes, that is correct. Well, do you want me to tell you what to do now?
Yes, of course. I'd like it as soon as possible, really.
I see. Well, I've heard that you are now now working for the Merchant Prince.
That's correct.
Does that mean you are not going to be in this city any longer?
Potentially. We have plans to leave soon, hence why I'm coming to you today, to get the dust before we leave.
Very well. Okay. I have a letter for someone in the court of Lenora. If you are going to be visiting in a cage.
I'm sure we'll be going there at some point.
Good. So I have a letter for one of the High Lords. If you can get it to him.
Yes.
He goes to his office. He finds. Just bear with me. House Darwin. Here we are. Yes, there is. So he has a letter for a person called Tenova Darwin. Is addressed to.
Darwin.
So it's like that.
Okay.
He says, if you can get him this letter, it will be worth your while. And here's the Gemheart dust as well, as a payment.
Oh, thank you. Well, yes. Well, I've been a pleasure doing business. I'm sure we will continue to do business upon our return.
Make sure that you get him that letter. I will not forget if you don't.
Oh no, I'll make sure he gets this letter. Don't you worry.
Very well. There'll be more in it for you anytime you need anything after this point, come find me. I'll have missions for you.
I will definitely remember that. Well, it's been a pleasure. I shall, see you, I'd say see you soon, but I'm not entirely sure when we'll be back, but we will be back.
Very well. And then he goes off and does something else. Right,
Lovely.
so is there anything else you want to do, Henning?
No, not particularly. That's just what he wanted to make sure he had before he left.
Cool, fantastic. What's everyone doing?
I like to go and buy a spell.
Okay.
My food's done, so I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. So Hanira,
And some health potions.
Okay,
I feel like they're in the same place.
yeah, you find a magic shop in the glass fair. maybe one that you've been to before. After the sort of proprietor of the shop comes out, and this sort of like quite lanky elf looking over to you, he says in Elvish, "Ah, another side down."
Another side down. You get a lot of them, me?
Get maybe about 4 a year in this shop.
Interesting. Well, do lots of them want to buy spells?
Not as much spells. What is it that you are wanting?
See invisibility.
He goes through his catalogue. I should have that somewhere. And are you thinking of are you wanting to buy a spell scroll
Yes, please.
or a wand?
A spell scroll.
Very well. Is it what? Is the invisibility? What level is that?
Second. So
What?
it should be 6 gold.
6 gold. That'll be 6 gold, please.
I hand over the 6 gold.
He gives you the spell scroll.
6 minus 6. Also, do you sell potions?
I do. Anything up to he sells anything up to level 5 level 5 items that are common.
Okay, let me just. I forgot to look this up beforehand. I think a lesser healing potion is the one that I was looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's level 6. Yeah, a lesser healing potion. 3. Wait, how much are they? Hold on. No, I was looking at the
12
price for the
gold
wrong one. Just one.
Okay. Lesser healing potion 1 is 12 gold pieces, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're actually like more weirdly like actually more gold efficient than the one below, which kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
Though I guess there's a certain amount of value in just you are no longer dying.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I add it to my inventory?
I think you might just be able to.
If you go and
Ah,
drag it.
consumables is probably
Yeah.
under.
yeah, if you search then drag it on.
Cool.
Okay, amazing. Is there anything else you wanted to buy from the shop?
Nothing that I want to buy, but I'd like to go and try and make my Arcana check to get into my book.
Okay, fine. Yeah, what do you have to do for that then?
An Arcana check of 18.
Okay, and how long does it take you to do that?
1 hour per level of the spell.
Okay, so returning back to your safe, the safe part of the fortress. Make me an Arcana check.
So if I fail it, I have a feat, which means I can redo it in a week.
Okay. Yeah, you just basically, as long as you don't critically fail it, right? Like, it's fine, right?
So
What's the DC?
18.
18. Okay, so that's a fail.
Yeah, so I can relearn it in a week instead of next level,
Okay.
whichever's
That's no
quicker.
problem. Yeah, sure.
So let me know when a week's passed. Maybe we'll just wait a week.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, yeah, like if people don't have much to do over the next few days, like, we can always just skip ahead. So yeah, what is everyone doing?
Sorry, you go. Mine's boring.
Cyan's gonna go chat with Keita.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that in the evening then.
There was one thing I wanted. I did just want to go to see if there's anyone with formulas for sale, but if not, then
Same.
oh, you can come with me.
Sure.
What formulas did you want?
I didn't have anything particular in mind. I just wanted to see, what they could have.
I'll say, as this is as the markets are still open and there's no like open warfare yet. The shops you can go around. You can find a shop that sells a formula for any anything, any common consumable up to level 5.
So, okay. Do riches first. I'm just gonna have a quick think. Which ones I'd like to try.
Would would I be able to find any formulas for runes?
So runes are going to be harder. The smith, Aaron Locke, is it?
Yeah.
He's a runesmith. But I think he's the only person in town, and he can do runes up to level 5.
Would I be able to purchase a rune formula from him?
A rune formula, yes. Do you know what the price of those?
Yes. So I would be looking for the rune formula for +1 armor, which is a 5th level rune. So it would therefore be 8 gold.
I've got that formula for you.
Ah, cheers. And he reaches into his pouch and pulls out over half of his gold to purchase this.
Nice. He says, I've never seen an orc doing rune crafting. But you taught by a dwarf.
Kind of self-taught, to be honest. Haven't really got the hang of it, if I'm being honest.
Well, I'm pretty impressed.
Well,
If you ever want to learn any new ones, come to me.
well, I just about got this one working, and pulls the flail out. It took me a while though. Probably would have been better off paying for it. But learning and all that.
Well, that's what they say. It's just better. It's generally better to get an expert to do it. But anyway, it's pretty good for craftsmanship, so not a big deal.
Cheers. Hopefully I can figure this one out. Feels it looks a bit more, bit trickier than the other.
Well, anytime you're in town, if you want any more formulas, yeah, you know where to find them.
All right. Cheers.
Cool. So how long does that take you to do that?
What to craft it?
To craft it.
Oh, I don't have enough gold to actually start crafting it. That would be something need to be something I'd look at later, because you need at least, I think it's like at least
So,
half
Hank.
the gold value of the item, and generally costs like most of the value, and it takes a while and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be a while.
Cool. All right. Well, rune formula in tow and consumables being looked at. Let's do the Cyan and Don Kita then, shall we? So Cyan, you find Don Kita at some point. He's relaxing. He says, when he sees you, he says, "Oh, it was such a busy day. Your friend found me earlier. Why didn't you come with him?"
I was thinking about a lot of things. I take it you know that we have new business.
New business? Yes. With the Merchant Prince.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be going out and looking for elves to help elven houses.
Aye. You still want me to set you up?
If you can, or at least tell Ignis that we're coming, because we may have something that we need to discuss with him.
He pulls off one of his rings off his paw, and he hands it over to you. It's like a ruby ring on a gold band, and in the ruby is engraved with the Gemcraft Guild's sigil. He says, "Give this to any of House Ignis. I'm close with them. They'll trust you."
Cyan's gonna give like a little look to Nyx as he takes it.
Nyx is sort of just doesn't quite understand.
Thank you, this means a lot.
No problem at all. I mean, this is a big, lucrative, big business opportunity, right?
Yes. You said you're close to House Ignis.
Oh, I've done some work for them.
Have you ever met Duranda?
Ah, Duranda, yes. Yes, he's intense.
That's a way of putting it. Is he? See, I've only met him the once. Is there anything else I should know? Conversation topics to avoid, things to bring up. I want to make sure that I have a good impression, or I make one at least.
He likes wine. Lavari, red wine. He has a taste for it.
I'll make sure to pick some up by the time I leave. Thank you.
Very well. Right. Well, hope it goes well. Hope you're. Hope you do the company proud.
Yes. I hope so too.
Cool.
Cyan leaves.
So taking the ring and the knowledge in hand of Doranda's favorite drink. What would you like? Yeah. What's everyone doing?
Can I got a few things on my list.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
First question: how much gold did Arix give to Cascus?
Oh yeah. So there's 300 gold pieces in there.
Okay. Second question is: Cascus is going to reinvigorate his orphan network for a little bit, just to ask and try and track down Snag and Snot.
Okay. It doesn't take you too long to find them. Are we in down? We're in downtime now, are we? Everyone? Yeah.
I'd say so.
Okay. Cool. So, you take maybe all right. So we're at the next day then. Time's just flying now. So it doesn't take you very long to find Snag and Snot. Snot is still kind of on strike, but Snag has been going around just doing his regular things. Going to the storage units, that's where you find them both. And Snot sort of just looks up and walks away in protest when you arrive.
Can I chase after him?
Yeah. I'm not talking to you.
Hey. Come on, just 1 minute, please.
What is it, Cascus?
Awfully quick to change your mind. First of all, how are you feeling?
I feel like someone beat the hell out of me and then killed one of my friends.
Okay. I've read that in situations like this, it is proper for the person who is probably at fault to admit they have done something wrong. So I apologize for putting you in that situation. I take full accountability, and I give you a few gold.
He stops and turns to you. It's all about gold, isn't it, with you, Cascus?
No.
Ever been about.
I take the gold back. I do not mean that. And he goes for a hug.
Snot just sort of awkwardly stands there as you hug him.
Very.
I'm sort of picturing it really slowly, awkwardly going near him to just try and wrap your arms around him. He's just sat there.
It's very robotic. Yeah, there. It is okay.
I feel uncomfortable, Cascus.
No, you do not feel uncomfortable. You feel good. This is good. We are making up. Who's my favorite, joint favorite goatboat?
Oh, okay. He sort of pushes you off and says, "Fine, Cascus, it's fine. We're okay."
Good. Well, in that case, I have a proposition for you both.
What is it?
Well, your friend, Casquis, has been involved in a bit of royal or near, I suppose, the Royal. In any case, I have come across a fantastic opportunity for us. How would you like to be on the first voyage to the different elven courts across Arcade?
What? We're going on another boat already?
Not any boat. This will be a boat of untold riches.
Snag says, yeah, Cascus, we're not a very famously seafaring race.
That is not fine. You did fantastically well. You buffed less than I did.
Snot says, and what is it? What's in it for us?
Well, what do you want? See, I did not lead with gold. Growth.
You can see Snot's eyes sort of ticking away. Make a persuasion check.
And I did a diplomacy check.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Right. That is a 16.
Snot says, I want one thing.
Yes.
I want a house.
A house.
I want a fort on the sea, and I want a boat.
Okay.
And Snag says, "Oh, I want a boat as well."
Okay, so a boat and a fort and a boat.
Well, if he's get a fort, I'll get a fort as well.
You both
Next to each other, looking at each other.
Friends. You know, the chances of finding two forts next to each other is pretty slim.
Well, you have to build one then.
Hold on, bear with. I'm just looking at my feet.
You always said, Cassius, that we would be well rewarded for working with you. We always thought you were a man of your word.
I am absolutely a man of my word, and I have never reneged on any of our previous agreements.
It's not like obviously raises an eyebrow. If he could raise an eyebrow, he would. He says, "That's my price. I want a fort."
Oh my! You know, I could just go down to any old gaff and hire two people for a tenth of what you are both asking for me now.
If we're going to make you super famous and wealthy, we want a bit of it as well. It doesn't have to be now. It could be in 10 years' time, but we want to retire at some point.
Just to Mike and Cassius is thinking, what's the lifespan of a kobold?
You don't know, and as Snag and Snot have said before, it seems that the kobolds tend to die long before they reach old age normally anyway, so no one really knows.
Fantastic. Okay, Cassius hedges his best. He said, okay, fine. Deal.
They look at each other and sort of like yelp in glee. And high five. Right. Well, when's the boat then?
Well, in a few days. Before we go there, we have to, of course, make all the money, and it seems that you are equal beneficiaries of this in some regard. I think it's best we go to the customs house. We get as much information as we can on the various key exports of the Adana Merchant Company, which guilds run the operations, and go to those places and offer our services on our diplomatic mission. You know, it is critical, you two, that we tell them very nicely not to tell ever people too much. Discretion will be very important here.
Discretion how?
Well, for them not to go around and brag that there's a group of people going around to the diplomatic mission to the various courts.
Right. Why would we tell them to not tell anyone after telling them? Why don't we just not tell them?
Well, because they need to know where their money is going. We say, hey, look, We will. We would like the right to sell your wares to elves. Name your price range we can offer. Blah 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 blah, and we will take a cut.
I see. And you want us to deal with that end of it here while you're away?
Well, all three of us will. I have, as I say, I have grown a lot, and I trust the two of you to be able to make representations about me. Please do not disappoint me.
Cool. All good. I know what everything you do anyway because we've been shadowing you for ages and taking notes. So.
Good. Thank you. And if you can drum up any, how do I say, cosmetic things that we could have in advance to make ourselves more presentable, perhaps to our hosts, or to really showcase the wealth of Adana. Please do not be afraid to ask. I want to be going onto that ship, as they say in some circles, blinged out.
Yeah, of course. All good.
Good. Okay. Right. So let us go to Customs House.
Okay, so you spend sort of some time just sort of setting all that up, do you?
Yes.
So what sort of things are you offering? You're offering like services to trade and stuff.
Yeah, basically. So like exclusive rights, like these are things that the gem crafters guild can offer you, and X, Y, and Z to these various elven courts, and they'll be like, "Ooh, this is stuff that we don't usually see." We'll have that, and we can set up kind of deals between them and Adana and vice versa, and maybe they have things that they want to trade to Adana that we don't necessarily have that we could get at a better price. And trade it back.
That would be clandestine business then.
Clandestine.
Is it clandestine business?
I mean, it's pretty open, right?
Yeah, established trade agreement, maybe.
Yes, established trade agreements.
Okay.
We're just doing the back end stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's fine. We'll sort that out between sessions and stuff. That sort of stuff can be sorted out.
Yeah.
And then every now and again, I can just give you however much money comes in from that, or whatever problems arise, or whatever.
Yeah. And in advance, like anything we can get hold of, A, to showcase the wares, and B, to make it, like, I don't know, like, if it's like particularly, I don't know, you probably wouldn't, right? But it's like certain jewelry and things like that. So we should be absolutely kitted out in like 2 kobolds and Cascus just in loads of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So just to let everyone know, today is the 48th day of spring, and we're in downtime. Let's say the boat doesn't leave until the 55th. So you have literally a week.
Oh, so I can try and do my spell again.
Yeah, so you can do whatever you want in that week. Anything particular you feel like doing?
So just for me, once again, there's Cascus's dad's in town on the 53rd day, I think it is.
That's correct. Yeah. Oh yeah, we can do that as well then.
Can I earn some income?
Yes. Well, this is the thing. This is what is downtime actions now. So, what sort of thing do you want to do?
So I would like to also create a runestone using so just a base runestone to the idea is that I can maybe start working on the idea will be that I could basically create a runestone, and then rather than having to work directly on the armor and then it getting damaged and the stuff getting like partially removed and stuff, kind of over time work on the runestone.
Okay.
Like maybe when we're traveling.
Yeah. Sure.
So runestones are only 3 gold, and they are a level 1 item. So that would be a DC 15 check to craft over
correct.
4 days.
Yeah.
Though now I say it, actually, I think I might be better off just earning income and then buying one, but this is more fun.
Okay. Yeah. Make a craft. Did you have to make a crafting check then?
Yes, so it'll be DC 15.
15. All right. Make a check. This is over 4 days. Is that right? DC 40, 15. That's a fail, unfortunately.
So basically, I waste 4 days.
Okay. What's everyone else doing over those 4 days?
Can I-
Owen,
Can I earn income?
Yeah. So 4 days worth of income. What task level are you going to do it on? So you can choose what level. 5 is probably the level that you want to be doing it on, because that's the level that you are at. So you'd have to do a job that is. Right, you use one of your skills to make money during downtime. What skill do you want to use?
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy. Okay. Let me just have a look. Okay, so the currently the highest level diplomacy thing that you can find work for is level 3. So that would be an DC 18. So
Okay, I'll try
so
it.
you find some merchants to whilst walking around who ask you to set up a business contract or like some sort of like agreement between the two of them, because they're not talking to each other, and you have to mediate between them. So yeah, give me a diplomacy check. Ooh, 16.
That's a fail.
That's a fail. So in that time, unfortunately, although the agreement doesn't go through, you make 8 copper pieces out of that. So that's times 4. Hang on. Yeah, 8 times 4.
So 32 copper.
So you make 32 copper pieces there. Cool. It's not very much, but that's how it goes.
It's more than I made.
Yeah. So what does everyone else want to do?
so I had those formulas that I wanted to try and find.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Did you want me to tell you what they are?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So there's the stone body mutagen
Okay.
formula, winter wolf elixir, sea touch elixir, and sinew shock serum.
Okay. And what are the prices of those?
I don't know.
Are you on the lesser stone body mutagen?
I think the first one you can get is level 5 anyway.
Yeah, that's the lesser one. So that's 22
lesser.
gold pieces for that.
That is probably the better one out of all of them, though. Let me just. So I'm just going to read it again, just to. So is the sinew? Sorry, was that the sinew? Which one were we talking about there?
Stone body mutagen.
Stone body mutagen.
Oh, I think this is actually the price for the actual thing.
Oh, hang on. I think I was looking at. Oh no, hang on. Just ignore that. Oh, hang on. Nah, I looked at it wrong. It's uncommon anyway. Don't worry about that one. Yeah, I can't have that one. Sinew shock serum is not though. That is common, definitely.
Yeah.
And that one would be quite good.
What's this? How do I work out what the formula price is of it?
I've posted it in the chat. So it's the same for everything.
Okay, cool.
It's-
So item level. Did you want the moderate sinew shock serum?
Yeah, we'll go for the moderate one.
So that's level
Would it-
4. So that would be 5 GP for the formula for that.
Yeah, go on. I'll take that then.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. I did that the wrong way round. Remove coin. So remove 8. Okay. And then, so then there was also the Winter Wolf Elixir, which I think is lower. That is. Where did it go?
Winter Wolf Elixir lesser, is it?
Yeah, the lesser one.
So that's level 4, so that's 5 GP as well.
Okay. Don't need it right now, so I think I'll ignore that one then maybe,
Okay.
and probably the sea touch as well. I'll just take the sinew shock serum.
Fine.
I did have a couple of alchemical items in my inventory that I'd like to try and break down and craft, like to have the formula for it during my downtime.
Yeah.
So the energy mutagen would probably be good to break down, and I also have shiver, and that smoke stick's also alchemical.
Okay, that's no
So
problem.
I'd probably try and break those down.
Yeah, so that would be... Make me a crafting check.
Yeah.
And I need to find the... DC.
30.
Oh, that's 30, did you say?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
30.
yeah, I'll definitely be that.
Yeah, I'm expert crafting. So.
So that will be for... Which one were you doing that for?
For all of those really, unless I don't have time to do for all of them.
It'll probably be a check per one that you're trying to...
Okay, so yeah, I'll make that for the energy meter because that's
Fine.
the really good one.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll take one out of my inventory and add the formula in a minute.
Okay.
And then there was Shiver.
Yeah, make me another crafting check.
Hopefully this doesn't fail because I only have one.
What level's the Shiver?
The Shiver is.
Shiver's level 3.
Level 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Where's
I'm just going to do some the DCs by level.
19?
Yeah, that succeeds.
Okay, cool. Got Shiver formula. And finally there was the smoke stick, which I might as well just see if I can make the formula for. So I don't know what level that was. I think it's...
Lesser, is it lesser or greater?
It's a lesser.
That's just level 1.
I think each one of these takes 4 days.
Is it 4 days for each?
So for breaking down something into a formula.
Okay, so that's 4 days. So that's 2. Did you do 2 for those?
I did.
So that's 8 days. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do...
Okay, I'll just do the energy mutagen for now then, because that's the good one. Okay. I will...
That's your 4 days then.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I'll...
And then, Cyan, what are you doing over your 4 days?
First thing Cyan's gonna do is pick up some Valari wine.
Oh, yeah. You can get... I mean... Do you want a really, 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 really nice bottle, or do you want a sort of more middle of the range bottle?
More middle of the range. Depends on like how expensive the bottles are.
It probably goes from like the cheapest being like a silver for a bottle, to maybe the most expensive being 15 gold.
Can I do one that's 10 gold?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
5 gold, sorry. 5 gold.
5 gold, yeah. That's a pretty middle of the range one. It's nice, it's expensive still. But the wine merchant is telling you all these things about it, how amazing people find it, and he gives you a little bit to taste. It tastes fruity, it tastes kind of sweet, it's got a bit of a kick to it. It's nice, it's strong, it's a strong wine.
Okay, I hand him the gold.
Okay, yeah, so you've got a bottle of that now.
And then I'm going to slip it away, and I'm going to try and find somewhere quiet to talk to Nix.
Okay, yeah. Sure, what do you want to say?
So... we're close.
Close enough.
Not close enough, no, but we're so close, Nix, we have a way in.
Yes. Yeah, no, I get it.
What's wrong? This is something we both wanted.
I guess I'm just sick of all the killing.
When we do this, that's it. I promise. We just need to get things right, and then we don't need to hurt anyone else.
But we will. We don't
Maybe.
need to, but we will. And that's what I'm scared of.
Nix. I know you... This isn't what any of us want, but it's what we have now. It's the way we can get back at them. All of them. The day we left, we agreed that's what we were going to do.
Yeah. I know. It feels so long ago now.
Doesn't for me. Every night it happens again and again and again.
Don't you think going back will make it worse?
Mix, I don't care. I don't care how it'll make me feel. I don't care what it'll do to me. I don't care if the dreams ever stop. All that needs to happen is people like him are gone.
I agree.
I know lately we haven't been seeing eye to eye on these matters, but when he's gone, I promise I'll do what I can.
I know. It feels like I was a different person then.
So was I.
Okay. What else are you doing? Some an income or anything on the side during these 4 days?
I don't really have many legal skills. Well, that said, I am trained in performance.
Okay, you could do some performances if you'd like.
Yeah, like
around taverns or whatever.
I was more thinking like Cyan's really keen on painting.
Okay.
So I was thinking maybe a performance check to like maybe do some face painting or something.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. So let me roll a dice. Okay. No. So there is a level 5. There's a level 5 job going where you can do some face painting for a merchant Don who's got a kid's birthday party going on.
Okay.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, so using your ways to sort of while yourself into the group, you sit down and begin painting the faces of their spoilt children, who are little rotters. Make me a. God, are you doing performance?
Yeah.
Make me a performance check.
Public or?
Yeah, go ahead. What sort of how are you painting the faces? You know.
There's little floral patterns that Cyan does, but also the ones that have a little bit of mischief in them. He's kind of painting whatever form that Nyx has chosen for the day.
Right.
Because that's what Cyan sees when he sees Nyx. He just sees mischievous little kid.
Okay, so unfortunately, that's a fail. So your face painting wasn't amazing. It wasn't so terrible as for them to immediately fire you and kick you out. So you do still make at the end of the day, at the end of now 3 days, is it? That's 6 silver pieces in total.
Okay. I'll take it.
Okay. Right. Hanira, what have you been doing? You've been.
I did the.
Oh, you did earn income. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have I missed everyone?
I mean, I don't think we've done an explicit thing for Cascus.
Okay. Yeah. What did you want to do?
So outside of doing that, which we've already discussed, the only thing I think was like capital investment. But like the majority of the stuff he's going to be doing is like trying to broker deals with various dons.
Yeah. You could do some earn income as part of that. Just do some earn income as part of that. Make some extra money, I suppose. Okay. Yeah, your current like stuff that's going on. I'll say that's. I mean, what you can choose what level you want to put into it because you're sort of self-employed. So 0 to 5. What do you want to do?
Hold on, I just want to check one thing because I've got hireling manager, securing hireling for. Oh no, that's somebody to do that service. Okay, fine, that's not me. Let's say. How do you get like expert, master, legendary in these jobs? How does that work?
So it depends if you're trained. You have to be if you're trained expert, master, or legendary in the skill that you're using.
Okay, which skill is an income?
Well, it can be any really.
Okay, right.
So I'd assume you'll be doing diplomacy.
Yeah, it would be.
So are you trained or expert in that?
I'm actually expert.
You're an expert. Okay, so yeah, you can choose from level 0 to 5, and that just changes the DC basically.
Okay, let's do. Because expert, let's go for task level 2.
2, okay. So you're doing some sort of middle of the road, like just admin stuff for your business.
Sure.
Okay. Right, make me a diplomacy check.
Did I do the private potentially?
I haven't seen.
Oh no, weird. That did not roll. Why is that not working? I'm pressing roll.
Press it harder.
Yeah, press it harder.
Let me try. Again, roll.
Things are rolling for me when I'm rolling.
I just tried like 4. I'm gonna refresh the page. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, refresh the page and then otherwise just make me a d20 roll.
Yeah, fine.
Just do it manually.
Oh god, the whole thing's crashed.
How many days did we have total?
So you had 7 days in total.
Okay. So we've got 3 days left.
Just while Matt's doing that, I did want to do one more thing. That's buy some ammo.
Buy some ammo. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, you can just buy that one wherever. For however much it costs.
Yeah, I think it's 1 silver piece for 10 rounds of a flintlock pistol.
Ammunition.
Price 1 SP. Yeah, over 10.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. I'll just do that.
All right, awesome.
All right, loading now. That was weird. Like, logged me out. Maybe that explains why.
Yeah, strange. Very strange.
Downloading world data. Please wait.
I'll just roll.
Fine. Just it's not. I'm sure it's fine.
Okay, you got a 5 on that.
Plus 12 is 17.
17. So that would be a success then at level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you say level 2 or level 3? Did you say level 2? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's a success, and you're expert, right?
That's correct.
That's 3 silver pieces times 4.
Yeah, that'd be right.
So 12.
12 silver pieces. Nice.
Yeah, you managed to do some work. There you go. You got this.
Every little help.
All right, so we're 4 days later. So everyone has 3 days left.
Mm-hmm.
Any ideas? For what people
Cyan's gonna try and find Henning.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
It's not very elusive. He's probably just hanging around the pub, waiting to go now.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, hello. Hello, what have you been up to?
Shopping. Hey, listen.
Right.
We're going to be going on a lot of adventures.
Most likely, yes.
There's going to be some pretty tough things that we're going to need to fight, I imagine.
Most likely, yes.
You wouldn't know of any very deadly poisons, would you?
I know a couple. That. Why? Well, I assume you want them for your blade.
Well, and my arrows.
I could probably conjure up something, yes. Although a lot of the potions I create only last a day, so you just have to remind me at the start, and then I can give you more. Start of each day.
That's fine, just so long as it kills what needs killing.
Oh yes, I know a perfect venom to put on your arrows. It'll make the enemy. It'll not only hurt them, but it'll make them not able to defend themselves very well, shall we say?
That would be excellent, actually. What's it called?
I call it hunting spider venom.
Ooh, I like spiders.
Perfect. But yes, just remind me, and I can craft you up some lickety split.
Okay.
Lickety split.
Yeah, sorry, lickety split.
Lickety split.
Lickety's. Anyway.
All right, swiftly moving on. Cyan, what did you want to do for the next 3 days?
I imagine Cyan's gonna kind of wait around mostly. He's gonna try and see if anyone wants help with whatever they're doing throughout the week, throughout the next few days. But other than that, he's mostly gonna be waiting for everyone to come around, maybe discuss where we're going first.
All right, so at some point you'll get together for a discussion. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Hey, folks. So we're going to a lot of places.
Looks that way.
That means that we're going to have to come up with some ideas as to places to go. I was wondering if any of you have anywhere that you might think of. Hanera, I know that you've got your family.
I've also got family in Kaibel. Kaibel? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
My sister lives there with her husband. I know it's quite close to Irina, but if you know, they're nice people.
Where's that?
There's this there is also a confirmed rift there as well.
Yeah.
Conveniently. There's a confirmed rift over here. Well, there is a rift, potentially confirmed rift over here as well, near Adenira.
Is that one of the places he told us to go?
That's one of the places Cyan wanted to go.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I would recommend we go to Adenira. Not only do I have business there, it's the home of the shipbuilders.
Well, I'm not too fond of just walking around. Okay.
Of course not, but it's one of the places that I feel like we should go.
Why don't we head for Kelrius first? It's closest, right?
I think that's where we're landing, eh?
Yeah, the further north we go, the worse it gets for me. I don't really want to go into it, but
I feel
maybe...
like if we're going, how north we talking here? Because
if you go on the world map,
if you go on the world,
well,
I'll show you.
well, yeah, just because, like, you know,
maybe avoid this bit.
Where's the point again? Oh wait, world map, sorry, I was looking at our Adenor map.
Where's Kelrius?
Kelrius is down here.
Right, okay.
Should we not look at the Adenor map? That's got a bit more detail on it.
Ah.
Why would we look at the
But
world
easy.
map? We're not. Why we got the world map out? Are we going to? We're not going to Warthade, are we? Not Warthade.
Joanne was basically saying that House Kaidas is where she doesn't want to go.
Right. How close does?
But he hasn't asked us to go there.
Well, he
So,
asked us to go to Lenora.
let's
That's.
go to-
I mean, Lenora's not that far from it, is it?
If I do recall, he asked us to go to as many and all as we could.
We shall go to House Ignis.
I think we should certainly go to all of them, given the chance. It would seem
Perhaps-
unwise for us to allow the banking guild to make relationships of undouse us even trying to contest them.
Perhaps we should just take one place at a time, yes, rather than
No, I
saying we
suggest
go here,
send
we go
one
here, we go
person.
here.
Well, I agree. So, who would be the easiest to convince? He looks at Pinera and Cyan.
Well, I'm not actually as well to do in Sidon society as maybe Hanira. I'm actually somewhat of a peasant. That said, I know House Ignis. I know them very well. And I feel as if that's one of the... that we could at least look there. I know certain members of that family, and I might know of ways to convince them.
Okay, so House Ignis. Who do they hate?
House Ignis? Would I know who House Ignis hates?
Not hate, you know what I mean.
Make a society check.
I know that they're friends with House Kaidas, right?
That's great.
Society. 17.
Okay, so you have an idea of the sort of recent-ish history of both House Ignis and House Kaidas. Basically, in the sense, if you go to the world map, in the center of House Ignis and House Kaidas, in the center of Adana here, this used to be owned by a house called House Natas, who were the original, like, sort of second most powerful house, and House Ignis and House Kaidas both destroyed them. And House Natas is actually the house that the Rodran High Lord that you met was. He was like part of that, and they're actually the kin of House Trisver. So both House Kaidas and House Ignis don't like House Trisver very much, and by extension, pretty much all the other houses.
Yeah, they're not very fond of people, especially Trisfair.
Right, so it's kind of them two and then everyone else.
Not necessarily.
Be pretty awkward for that Moran if you know.
Not necessarily. The elves love honor. If we come at them with proof of, or at least evidence of the true murderers of the Padron, they would be jumping all over each other to help. House Ignis would certainly adore the chance to prove to the others that they're the strongest and most willing to honor the previous Padron. And especially as the shipbuilders, they are someone that we cannot ignore, especially if we're going to be launching an assault on Imiana.
Ignis are the shipbuilders, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, cool. Makes a good point. But I do wonder if we park that train of thought briefly to consider Inira's relationships, and I assume this will support our bid in the Sidang Crownlands. Perhaps a good opportunity to start there, given I presume it's fair standing among the rest of the continent.
Well, yeah. Maybe. So, House Kaidas, they sort of don't like me, but also like me a lot.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you're really going to need to clarify on that.
So, and I don't know how to pronounce his name. It begins with M. Maurice? Maurice Kaidas sort of wanted to marry me.
Oh.
He never proposed. It didn't quite get that far, but there was word that he liked me, or that he thought it would be valuable to him. Something like that. I don't know. But and if he had proposed, I wouldn't have been able to say no because it would have put everyone else in an awkward position. So I sort of just left.
So what you're saying is...
Before he could propose. So I never turned it down.
So what you're saying is, we marry you off to him, and then we get House Kaidas.
Brilliant idea.
I don't think that's what Hanir is saying.
I think it's really noble of you to take one for the team like that.
I don't know whether he liked me or took a fancy to me because he liked me. He thought I was attractive and a nice person. You know, I can play the liar very well, and maybe that wooed him. Or he thought it was a good political move. It could have been either.
Well, especially considering your brother had just gone missing and there was no more heirs. So
Yeah.
other than you, pretty much, because everyone else has been married off.
Sorry, and just to re-clarify, what is your standing in all of this?
What do you mean?
Well, how I don't mean to be crude, but how senior are your parents?
My father's dead and left everything to my mother, and she's in charge of House Trisfer.
Oh, I see. I see. Oh, okay.
I do have 2 sisters. Maybe we could convince one of them to marry him. No, I don't want that for her. I don't know why I even suggested that.
Yeah, you've heard the rumors about House Kaidas.
Well, it seems we have a good inroad. The best, perhaps, to House Trisfair at this point. I suggest we start there, unless anyone knows much of House Kaden or Rexis.
Well, I think if we're going to Trisbay, we're going through the Crown Lands. And I don't think the Crown Lands are going to offer support without anyone else's support.
Agreed.
My mother's not weak. She won't give in to us if it's not a good point of, it's not words. If it's not good for House Trisfair, she won't just do it because I'm there.
I was about to suggest that you would craft a competent argument that is well persuaded, but after that word soup you just gave, I'm not so certain.
I think, at the end of the day, elves are not going to care much about words. They're going to care much more about what we can offer them.
Yeah, like a marriage to this Maurice guy.
Well, there's that.
I'm not doing that.
But I was more so thinking they're not going to join a half-baked alliance against the banking guild. They're going to want to have people behind them who know what they're doing. Adenira, that's the home of the shipbuilders, as I said. That's very powerful navy.
Could split the party.
It's not a terrible option. There's nothing wrong.
No, let's not do that.
Why?
No. We need
Wait.
to stick together.
Wait, first of all, who said that? Where did that even come from?
It's done item.
All right. I didn't realize you. Sorry, I didn't realize you're in it.
Oh, you.
He's been here the whole time.
Oh.
It's kind of creepy. But
It's like he was like Strider in the corner with like a little pipe and a hood over.
no, we're stronger together.
I would
We're
agree.
smarter.
Whatever, it is fine. Does anybody know anything of House Rexis? I assume we'll be going through there first.
Yes. I don't know anything. Would I know anything about House Rexes? I don't think so. I lived in the forest for a while.
Can I do first time using this oh, where is it? Okay, can I use my law skill genealogy to know who is the ruler of House Rexis?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, 28.
Fuck yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So, your knowledge of House Rexis, the leader of House Rexis is a person called Mendel Rexis. High Lord Mendel. House Rexis are quite. They are the only house that has like proper like long-term trade agreements currently with the Adana Merchant Company, as they're on the border with Kelrius, and Kelrius used to be their city, so they have a sort of connection to Kelrius, which means that they have like inroads to the Adana Merchant Company. So they've made quite a lot of money trading with the humans, and they've gone from a house which was originally kind of small to like starting to become more powerful now. And in turn has been given, Mendel Rexis has been given like greater and greater privileges on the like committee that oversees the Padrin, because the Padrin is in like a regency council. So House Rexis is an upcoming and powerful house, not massively like as known as the others, but they have ambition.
Okay.
Sort of ambition for greater things, really.
Well,
Yeah. So that's it.
With these houses, so we go around asking them to help us, but what are we actually offering?
Well, for one, the heads of the people who murdered the Padron.
I mean, that's all well and good, but I'm not sure we can prove that. Plus, they're probably going to want something concrete. If they're sending a bunch of their men off to die, they're going to want something for it, something real. And I don't know what we're authorized to offer.
Mike.
Yeah.
Do most elves know about the gloom?
No. They know of like. No, they don't. There's like stories and like sort of but they think it's folklore.
Yeah.
Don't really think it's real.
Okay, well that scraps that idea. There is that weird guy who totally isn't a shift to you guys that we could try talking to. The
What?
guy we met in the gloom.
Why would we want to speak to him?
Cadell.
Well, because he is very close to the Padron. And we at least know something about what he wants. Some form of relic in the gloom. And we have information about the gloom related to the banking guild. If you recall, there were humans in the gloom. My thinking is perhaps they came from the banking guild. And he'd be very interested in what they have.
I do not have a view on this.
I do think we need to clarify with Axos what we're actually able to offer, though. Like, you know, we're not. I'm not sure we're going to be able to make contact back home. At least not quick contact.
That's a fair point. We should talk to Axos at some point. Get a basic idea as to what we'd be offering these people.
John Iden is qualified to answer those questions.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, you. Yeah, do you know?
So as ambassadors of the Adno Merchant Company, the expectation is that you promise joint business ventures and, you know, allow the elves to hedge their bets on who they think is going to be the winner. So they feel like they will benefit from it. As for promising physical things, if you're getting to that point, they're not very trustworthy anyway.
So it's more showing that we have more capacity to win.
Showing that we have more capacity to not only win but to rule, compared to the banking guild. Understand this: we are in civil war currently, or will soon be. We haven't had any clashes yet, except for the one in the tower. But soon our ships will start to fight each other. And when that happens, we need the elves to, if not help us, to at least stay away from us, not interfere. Because we cannot fight off an elf invasion as well as the banking guild. So if we need to make them promises that we can't necessarily keep to keep them off our backs for now, then you're authorized to do that.
I see.
Anyway, if I may, all this chat of this is getting me a little bit tired.
Yes, very well. If you have any more questions, just come find me. We'll end the session there then, shall we? And then when we come back, we'll do downtime like for the next couple of days, whatever people feel like doing, and then head off.
Yeah, the two things that Cascus. Yeah, so there's the mill with.
Yeah, exactly.
His dad, and also he wants to talk to try and hunt down Donya's Esteem again.
Yeah, of course. Amazing. Well, we'll do that next session then.
Cool.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks for playing, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for running.
Thanks for running.
See you next week, Russian spammers.
Yeah, and then we'll be heading into the big adventures.
Mm.
Big adventures.
See ya.